tell you to go apologize, and you go apologize even though you don't mean it, but you only did it because mom and dad told you so. That was Nick Sirianni yesterday. We'll react to that all day today. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas.
Every player, every coach, Howie Roseman, in terms of a roster before the season started, everything about the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday was bad.
Watching Jalen Hurts play. Can it be corrected? Sure. Right now, this team has a quarterback problem.
Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Tuesday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. And Johnny, just so people know when they don't overreact, the Open is old. Jalen Hurts had a very good game.
He did.
And the Eagles might still have a lot of issues that they need to work out. But I want the people to know Jalen Hurts had a good game.
Oh, yeah, we
Sunday.
were all over it yesterday. We said it within the first 5 minutes of the show.
And then we had to talk about Nick Sirianni the rest of the day, which, hey, deja vu, it's going to happen again. Good morning, Johnny.
Good morning, and good morning to everybody. And I didn't have much of that. Betty and Tom were not into – my siblings were older. You know, Doc's like six and some years older. My sister was like 10 years plus older.
Okay.
So I did not have much of that growing up. You probably had it.
I never.
In proximity to your sister's
It
age.
was usually the other way around where she had to apologize, but every once in a while, I felt good when it was my turn to have to apologize because that means I got her good.
My parents
We didn't have the best relationship growing up.
See, my parents never did that. Like, they just didn't care. They were like, just fend for yourself. Like,
police yourselves.
Raised like a wolf.
That's good. Hey, look, you got to do what you got to do.
Allowing
man.
Doc to terrorize me my entire childhood. Somehow I love him. I don't know why, but I do. I just love him.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
It must be like I've forgotten a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, or you just ignore it at this point.
Being thrown over the fence into the sticker bushes in the neighbor's yard. If I pissed him off.
That doesn't sound like that was enjoyable.
No, it really wasn't. It wasn't.
Do you need to talk about it?
No,
do we need to do a therapy session?
Oh, I'm sitting on Oprah's couch one day and letting it all hang out.
All right, so Nick Sirianni has become now a national joke. National talking points, national everything. So
if you guys would just stop talking about this.
Yeah, like so.
Stop making stuff up out of nothing. The Philly media making stuff up out of nothing. By the way, I will tell you I have something for you that I saved, but there is a story going around of what. Hey, I'm the fan that Nick Sirianni was yelling at.
It's below.
That's what it was all about. Bull crap.
Yeah.
They know exactly what he was yelling about because there were microphones.
Yeah.
There were microphones. They were able to know exactly what he was yelling at. He was not getting into it with an Eagles fan in funny fashion.
About running the football.
He was not goofing off. It was nothing of the sort. There are microphones all along an NFL sideline. They know exactly what was going on.
Yeah,
and they were not pleased about it.
In case people don't know, at the NFL Network, there's something called red tape.
Red tape, right?
Which is the stuff that is caught on mic and on camera that is
and
not
it's flagged.
That is not allowed to be aired.
Right, it's flagged. But they know exactly what is said on an NFL sideline.
Yes.
I was seeing this work of fiction out there yesterday. Be going, oh no, this is what happened.
Yeah,
Nick Sirianni wasn't trying. So, and I swear, if it wasn't someone thinking, I thought immediately, I'm going, is this a burner account? Like, I'm like, is somebody trying to, like, cover up this?
It was somebody that's trying to have fun and posting something out there to get reaction.
They know exactly what Nick Sirianni said.
Yeah.
There are microphones all over the sidelines, and that is why he was brought to the principal's office and apologized yesterday.
Yeah, and you don't think, guys, he would have just said that on his press conference? Like,
I was getting into it and we were joking around.
About running the football.
Right.
Like, he would have said that either Sunday or yesterday. And, of course, none of that was said because that story isn't true.
And also to the, I would say, I would make a wager that we are never going to see the daycare center at a press conference ever again. Ever again.
Yeah.
Barring this team winning a Super Bowl
right.
or going to a Super Bowl. We are never going to see, hey, let's bring our kids on the podium and everything. And as was brought up last night on ESPN, it does not. They were trying to figure out if it's happened. Coaches have done it in a 10-year period.
Right.
When there hasn't been a championship celebrated. They could think of none.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
look,
normal. It's not a normal thing. It's not a cool thing. It's not no big deal. It's a big thing.
and he's now become a national talking point, a national
unbelievable.
joke. And to your point, you said it a couple minutes ago. There are people that think that we make too much of things, or we blow things out of proportion, or we make things up. That's not something that this show does. That's
No.
not something that this station does. We don't make things up. We talk about stuff that's real. And this is a real issue right now, that the Philadelphia Eagles have a head coach that is not being talked about for his X's and O's. That was something that was being talked about a couple weeks ago. The
Sure.
Saquon Barkley drop pass, that was discussed on national markets a few weeks ago. Nick Sirianni has now become a joke across the league. You said it. I didn't even see it because I don't really watch these shows all that much. That a few weeks ago, Fox, when they do their joke segments,
They did
it
it
was
on-
basically all on Sirianni.
It was all about Nick Sirianni and the decision to throw the ball to Saquon Barkley.
right. So this
And
guy's become a
just-
national joke.
They both use their comedy segments to make fun of Sirianni.
Right. And look, that's a bad thing. All right, when people who know the league even more than we do are making jokes about this guy and saying the things that they're saying. You know how a lot of people always think, "Oh, they don't go too far because they want good access," right? No, when you start hearing this stuff being said from the national media, let's play this one first from Damian Woody, and then we'll hear Nick Sirianni's forced apology, and then we have a question on it. This is the kind of stuff that's being said about the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
D-Wood, what'd you think of that?
What's this clown behavior, bro? This dude is a clown. Like, seriously. You gonna seriously talk trash to the fans?
Your own fans.
Your own fans. Like, listen, people come out here and pay big money to come out and watch you put a product out on the field. When you don't perform well, they have every right to boo you.
Damn right.
And you gonna get in all in your feelings because fans are booing you because your team stinks? Like, bro, come on. And then you brought up in our meet, like, oh, then you're going to bring your kids into the post game to kind of soften the blow from what reporters might ask you. This dude is a straight clown, bro. Like, I just don't have any respect for what this man is doing. Y'all barely beat the god-awful Cleveland Browns, and then you want to talk trash to the fans. Get the hell out of here.
I mean, that's a national person. That's Damian Woody
That's
from
just
ESPN.
one of a cavalcade.
Oh, we have plenty
you'll
to
hear
play
today.
for you today because a lot of people were reacting to what happened on yesterday. But that's not me or John talking. That's not somebody from NBC Sports Philadelphia or somebody that writes for any of the local news sources. We have Jeff McClain coming up at 8:10. That's not Jeff McClain. That's somebody who didn't even play in Philadelphia. He knows the Eagles fans, I'm sure, but that guy Damian Woody has no ties with us.
No, he
and
doesn't.
he sounded offended by what Nick Sirianni did because it's a joke.
The only thing I'm going to say is in defense of Nick Sirianni today.
Good luck.
I actually believed him yesterday. I believed the apology.
Good for you. You're a better
I
man.
did.
You're a better man than I am.
And I may be a total sucker, but I admire anyone who, after a bad moment, can eat it, whether it was forced or not.
I think it was forced.
And I in fact think I know that it was forced.
Right.
But it was. I mean, that was hard to do because it's all over national media. It's all like he's the story.
And then-
But
and
he's-
that's the
and that's a
problem.
disgrace. It's a disgrace that he made himself the story.
The Eagles.
It's
Bar-
just
Look,
we're not
the Eagles
talking
barely
about
won.
the Eagles.
The Eagles
right.
barely won, so it's not like we would have been talking about the Eagles with nothing but flowers. Like we would be probably being critical of the Eagles today, still following a 20-16 win against the Browns. But we've barely talked about the game. We tried to yesterday, and we gave the flowers to Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
Yes, we did.
Jalen Hurts had a great game.
Jalen Hurts.
AJ Brown was spectacular. Devontae Smith. They were able to win despite losing Jordan Mailata at some point in that game. Dallas Goedert early on. Like, there were positives that we discussed yesterday, but that was like 20% of the show. The other 80% was Nick Sirianni, who decided to make everything about himself, and that's going to continue all week long. So let's play a couple of the clips from yesterday's press conference. I'll be honest with you, John. I told you this yesterday morning after our show was done. The Monday press conference is usually something I listen to at night after Cooper
Right.
goes to bed.
Exactly.
Or on my drive in here so that it's fresh in my mind on my way into work on a
All right.
Tuesday morning. I was sitting on my couch
Waiting for it?
at 3:15, waiting 10 minutes because God forbid he ever gets on time. Waiting 10 minutes, not taking my eyes off the best show ever with Ricky and Andrew DeCecco yesterday. Tyrone was out. And just waiting for that press conference. I can't tell you the last time I made a point to watch the day after press conference live.
We absolutely switched on over and had to see it.
You had to see it. So here's Nick Sirianni, his initial apology to the Eagles fans yesterday.
I was trying to bring energy yesterday, and I'm sorry and disappointed on how my energy was directed at the end of the game. And my energy should be all in on coaching, motivating, celebrating with our guys. And I got to have better wisdom and discernment of when to use that energy, and that wasn't the time. And
That was where the story again that's circulating on social media is complete bullcrap.
Yeah.
He was not getting into it playfully with the fan
You don't
base
think he
or
would have
anything
said
like that.
we were talking about running the football?
He said we were joking around about money in the football. No. And more importantly there, though, I don't agree with him at all. I was trying to bring the energy. No, Nick.
No, you weren't.
You were distracted.
You wanted to
You
get
got
chesty.
distracted.
Yeah.
You got distracted because you were being critiqued, and you decided to melt down. Like it's again. Where's your focus? He talks about focus and discernment. You have no discernment. Discernment's never been your thing.
Right.
You can't not get into fights with opposing players on the sideline, which is as childish as it gets. You're not in the game. You're not in the game. You're the coach. And then to have that nonsense go on, it's staggering. And it's got to be a problem when Jeffrey Lurie has to call him in on a Monday and say, we can't have this.
And you know what's bad? My tone is so much different today than yesterday. Yesterday, I was like piss and vinegar, right? I was not happy with how that played out on Sunday. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I just have to ride out the storm. And I just have to wait till this guy gets fired. And that freaking sucks.
When it's the Eagles coach, that sucks.
It's only week 6. Like, I watched 5 Eagles games this year, and I'm at a point of, well, this season's not going to end well. And it's because of the head coach who I didn't want back. And I don't root to be right. I want to be wrong if it's a negative opinion or a negative thought or a negative hypothesis, right? I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong about Nick Sirianni. I don't think that I am. And I'm starting to reach a level of, and what's the scariest thing for a sports team, John?
Apathy.
I mean,
By the way,
now,
it's bad for us, too.
yeah, like
It's bad for us.
I would love to come in here and be like, Sirianni, screw you. Or I would love to come in here and celebrate the fact that he apologized. But because I know it was forced and he had to do it because the boss told him to, and I know that this is something that's been going on for a while, and I know that I didn't want him back, and I believe he only came back because of the bad optics of firing another head coach after just being in the Super Bowl like they did with Doug Peterson. Man, I can't come in here today and find one way or another other than just feeling apathetic at this point. And that freaking sucks. It's week 6, heading to week 7.
And you hear all the responses as to why they kept him. And by the way, I'm not running from it. I was one of the people who said, get out of here with the get rid of Sirianni thing. Get rid of it. Because I was not there for it. I understand now a lot more why people were after watching it continue to happen. And I just say to myself, one of the things that I should have listened to more, even when his players or ex-players came out in defense of Nick Sirianni at the end of last year, none of them talked about him as a coach. They talked about him as a person.
Good guy.
And I can tell you, I've heard tons of stories, including where we go down the shore in the summer to stay. Nick Sirianni stays at the same place. And I told you guys when I came back, people are like, Nick Sirianni was like the nicest guy, kindest person, friendly with all the people that like interacting with other guests.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He is a fantastic person by all accounts. I don't think he's suited. His behavior tells me he's not suited for this job.
No, and
it's too much. It's too much for him. When you're worried about getting booed in Philadelphia,
it's
too much.
And so to that point, I was going to get into this next segment, but
I'm sorry to jump.
No. I'll say right now. You said it's too much for him. This guy doesn't even know how to express his emotions. So the play calling duties has been too much for him, which is why he's passed them off now numerous times, right? being involved as head coach for both sides of the ball seems to be too much for him, which is why Vic Fangio has all the keys of the defense, and nobody's complaining about that.
No, not at all, though, especially the way they're playing.
And now the way he expresses his emotion, like he has to think about
how to express your emotion.
So think about it. On Sunday when they play the Giants, and hopefully they beat the crap out of the Giants, which I don't expect them to at this point. I expect them to just win a football game but not feel great about it. He's going to be thinking at some point in the third quarter, should I celebrate or should I tone it down a little bit? Like this guy, when he should be thinking about clock management,
which he was distracted from,
correct,
obviously on Sunday. When
he should be thinking about, hey, should we run the ball in this situation? Should we go for it on fourth down? Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we send pressure? Which clearly he's talking to Vic Fangio. When he needs to think about football, he's also going to be thinking about how he's acting on the sideline. That's horrible when you have to think about, all right, it's like imagine we're doing this radio show, right? I have the opinion that I want to express on the air.
Okay.
Wait, does my voice sound good? And now the whole time,
not really, does it?
I know, I'm sure it doesn't.
Not really.
As I'm trying to express my opinion to you, I'm thinking, or maybe even listening to my voice more so than what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of where he's at right now. He's got to worry about his emotions on the sideline instead of just coaching a freaking football game.
Because he's not prepared for the job. He doesn't know how to handle a Sunday afternoon when the pressure and the focus of this city is on his shoulders. He doesn't handle it well. He doesn't handle the expectations well. When things are going well, and again, when things are going well, they're quite the outfit. I think it's sort of like the Phillies.
Yeah, they're front runners.
When things are going well with the Phillies, they're front runners.
Yeah.
They're dancing on my own and all the little, here's all my handshakes and everything. And when the Phillies are going badly, it's the mouth wide open, staring through the netting, looking at the field, emotionless.
Last year,
they
when
don't know how to handle
that 1-6 stretch, he just looked like a deer in the headlights, except for when he was yelling at